Let's bring in Rina Shah. She's a political strategist and founder of Relax Strategies. That's a political intelligence firm, and she joins us live from Washington, D.C. Rina, good to have you with us. So, at this point, neither candidate has closed the deal. As Alan Fisher was just saying there in his report, the race still neck and neck. How critical were those speeches last night from both Harris and Trump? Are they likely to have swayed undecided voters at all?
Indeed, these finale speeches from both Harris and Trump in D.C. and Pennsylvania, respectively, were speeches intended to really give their all. And I think both of them did just that. You heard a long-ranging speech from Trump, not only long in length, but really lengthy in terms of policy views, something that we're not used to hearing from Trump. When he spoke with the same ferocity we hear from him. There were a number of falsities there within his remarks, but more than anything, I grabbed on to a lot of how he very clearly gave what he would do when he takes office. It should be noted he spoke from a teleprompter, which is also not the typical thing that Trump does. Whereas with Harris, when she appeared in front of the White House at the Ellipse, she too had a teleprompter, but her entire, again, full court press is what I call it, was focused on unity.
Let's just stay with Trump, because the heat seems to be on him at the moment with those terrible comments about Puerto Rico from that comedian at his recent rally. Is Trump therefore likely to lose support from Latino voters who may prove to be a crucial demographic in deciding the election, Rina?
Well, in the immediate aftermath of the comedian at Trump's Madison Square Garden, New York rally, people were absolutely flabbergasted as to how he could still get the support of Puerto Ricans. And Puerto Ricans are Americans. It should be noted this comedian's joke was not just one that landed flat, it was offensive because it called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. But again, he didn't call the Puerto Ricans that. I don't think that makes it any less worse, but that's what's being highlighted tonight because Biden today just picked up on that bit. And he said Trump's comedian's remark, was not a good one, of course. I'm paraphrasing Biden here, but he went on to say that the only garbage he sees are Trump supporters, essentially. So the line there was crossed by this comedian, but Trump never came out and denounced that comedian. And we don't really have any evidence to show us that didn't move the needle with Latino Americans.
And Rina, for Kamala Harris, the millstone around her neck is the Biden legacy. Has she done enough, do you think, to persuade undecided voters on the economy and also young voters and people of colour over issues like the war on Gaza? I mean, many observers, Rina, say, look, she hasn't done enough about Gaza.
Well, right now, we know that Gen Z is an all-important voting bloc. It remains one for Harris because it was Gen Z that put Biden-Harris in the White House in 2020. She needs that turnout to not only be strong nationwide, but she needs that turnout to be strong for her in certain pockets. All the emphasis has been on Michigan. Of course, the uncommitted movement there remains pretty strong. They didn't get a speaking slot at the Democratic National Convention, and many took great offense to that. But as to what Gen Z will do regarding their views on Gaza and their feeling that this administration has failed them, look, it should be noted that Harris did come right out and say, I want a ceasefire. I want control of arms. There should be conditions placed on Israel in terms of us giving them arms. But in pulling back and seeing the bigger picture here, we don't have any good data that could lead us to draw an educated guess. Will Gen Z, as a voting bloc, show more apathy like we thought they were starting to do in the spring and the summertime before Biden dropped out? Apathy means they may just choose not to go to the polls because they are so frustrated about this administration's handling of Gaza.
OK, Rina Shah, always good to get your thoughts and your analysis, Rina. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.